is for class 8 science. Today we will study chapter 6 metals and non-metals. This is the first part of the video. There are 3 videos for today. First let us understand that what are elements and how do we classify elements. Elements are actually found in nature, they are present in the nature, and elements can be classified into 2 categories. One is metals and another is non-metals. Later on in your higher classes you will study about a third category, which is metalloids, but right now in your book only metals and non-metals is prescribed, so we are doing that only. So elements can be classified into 2 categories, metals and non-metals. Let us first study about metals today. Now elements, there are 118 elements present on this earth. In your book the number given is less, but it is actually 118 elements, and elements are discovered, and these 118 elements are divided into metals and non-metals. Non-metals, there are 24 non-metals according to your book, and we'll go according to your book only. So this is 24 non-metals, right? And rest of them are metals. Now we will study in this chapter that what is the difference between metals and non-metals, what are their physical and chemical properties. Now actually when you study about the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals, you will understand it more clearly. Let us first begin with physical properties of metals. Now you should know that what is physical properties. Physical properties is like how an element looks, like, right? Outer view of the element, outer view of the metal. Like when we see the metal, how is it? Is it hard? Is it soft? Okay. What is the sound of that? Okay. What are the properties? Means whatever is the physical appearance of the metal, that is included in the physical properties, right? Chemical properties are those which are when we react something with metals, then we say that those are the chemical properties. So first we study about the physical properties of metals. First of all, as we see any metallic thing, how do we come to know? The most important physical property of metal is when you see when you hold a metal in your hand, you will find that it is hard. Metals are hard. They are strong, they are hard, right? These are the physical properties. This is the first physical property, that metals are hard, they are strong, and in terms of science we call it that they have a high tensile strength. Metals have high tensile strength. High tensile strength means that they are so strong that they can bear heavy loads, right? So that is the high tensile strength. They are very strong, they are very hard, and every property has some exceptions also. For example, here the exception is the metals like sodium and potassium. See, this is for sodium, Na is the symbol for sodium and K is for potassium. Sodium and potassium, these are very soft metals. Okay, they are the exceptions. They are soft metals. They are so soft that they can be cut even with knife. We can cut them with knife into these metals into pieces. So these are soft metals. And another exception is mercury. Mercury is a liquid metal. So naturally it cannot be very hard or strong because this is a liquid metal. So these 3 are the exceptions for high tensile strength. It means they have low tensile strength, we can say. So sodium, potassium and mercury, these are the exceptions. Now the second physical property is luster. Luster means shine. All the metals, they have a shiny appearance. Okay, they have shiny appearance. You must have seen aluminium, or you must have seen iron. Iron is Fe. You must have seen zinc or copper articles at your homes. You have seen silver and gold jewelry at your home, right? So silver, gold, any iron also, zinc, all of them are having luster, they are having shiny appearance. Okay, so this is the second property of metals. Then the third one is that they are sonorous. Sonorous means when we hit a metal, it produces a ringing sound. They produce a ringing sound. Okay, that is known as sonorous. We say that metals are sonorous. When we hit a metal, they produce a ringing sound or a metallic clink. We also call it as a metallic clink is there, right? Suppose I have this bowl in my hand. Now if I hit it with a spoon, okay, so this is the ringing sound. This is clink, metallic clink, okay, and this is plastic, so it is not producing a ringing sound right now, okay, but if I do like this, okay, so this is a ringing sound, that is sonorous. Then we come to the next property, that is malleable. Malleable means metals can be beaten into sheets. They can be beaten into sheets or they can be drawn into sheets. Now a very common example is the aluminium foil. You can have a look at this aluminium foil, right? Aluminium foil is the best example, okay? All of you carry your lunch in your school, your lunch in this aluminium foils. You pack your food in your aluminium foils, so they can be drawn into thin sheets. That is known as malleable. Now here many of the students get confused at what is malleability. Malleability is actually a property. Okay, we can't say that metals are malleability. Some students write this, okay, so that is wrong. So malleability is the property. And when we say about metals, metals are malleable. Metals are malleable and the property is malleability, right? So they can be drawn into sheets. Okay, now we come to the next. One more example is silver foils. You must have seen that silver foils are there on the sweets which we buy from the market. So that silver foil is also an example of malleability of metals. Silver is malleable, highly malleable, so it can be drawn into sheets. That is known as malleable. Now next property is ductile. Metals are ductile, or we can say that they have the property of ductility. Ductility means they can be drawn into wires. Metals can be drawn into wires, so that is known as ductility. The property is known as ductility and the metals are ductile, right? You must have seen copper wires at your homes. Copper wires at your homes, electric wires are copper wires made up of copper. This is a sign for copper. Cu is a sign for copper. And silver is highly ductile. Silver is very, very ductile, right? It can be drawn into wires very easily. And but the problem is that why don't we use a silver wire is naturally they are expensive as compared to copper, so we use copper wires at our homes. So silver is more ductile than copper, but we are using copper wires at our homes because they are less expensive. Okay, there is a question in your book that can we draw a wire from a piece of wood? Okay, can we draw a wire from a piece of wood or coal? So the answer is no. Why? Because they cannot be drawn into wires. They are not ductile, and if you want to make a wire out of it, then they will break because they are brittle. Wood and coal, these are non-metals, they are brittle, they will break if you try to turn them into wires. Okay, so this is there. Then the next property is that metals are good conductors of heat. Metals are good conductors of heat. Conductors are actually the substances. Conductors are those substances which allow the heat to pass through them. Heat to pass through them. Conductors are those substances which allow the heat to pass through them. Now metals are very good conductors of heat. That is why you must have seen that in our houses, in our kitchens, we have metallic utensils. Okay, so if suppose this is a pan, okay, and here is your food and you are cooking the food here, so this is a flame. Now when we heat the food, this is a metallic utensil, so the flame, the heat passes through this metal and reaches to your food, and your food gets cooked. So metals are good conductors of heat, and that is why the metallic utensils are used in our kitchens, right? Heat supplied at a place is distributed all over the metal. When we supply the heat here, so heat is distributed all over the metal, and here your food gets cooked over the metal in the pan, over the metallic pan. Okay, and there is a question that can a frying pan be made up of cardboard? This is one of the questions given in your book, that can a pan be made up of cardboard? So the answer here is no, because what will happen, cardboard is a bad conductor of heat, so naturally it will not allow the heat to pass through it, and the cardboard is going to burn. It will catch fire, it will not allow the heat to pass through it, and it will get burnt. So we can't use a pan made up of cardboard, right? Why? Because it is a bad conductor of heat, and it does not distribute the heat all over the pan. Okay, so this is the reason why we use the metallic utensils, because metals are good conductors of heat. Now the last physical property is that metals are good conductors of electricity also. Metals are very good conductors of electricity, that is again, conductors is which allow the electricity to pass through them, and metals allow the electric current to pass through them. And if we look at the order, silver is a very good conductor of electricity, then comes your copper, and then comes your aluminium. Okay, so here the wires are made up of copper at our homes, and we don't use silver wires because they are expensive. That's why we use copper wires at our homes. And there is one more question in your book, that can we use nylon or jute ropes? Nylon or jute ropes for conducting of electricity? So again, the answer is no. Why? Because nylon and jute, they are bad conductors of electricity. They are bad conductors of electricity. Bad conductors of electricity means that they will not allow the electricity to pass through them. And if they don't allow the electricity to pass through them, how the electricity is going to travel? So nylon and jute ropes, they cannot be used for making the wires. They are not the good conductors of electricity, but silver, copper, aluminium wires can be used because they are very good conductors of electricity. Silver is the best conductor of electricity, but because of being expensive, we don't use the silver wires at our homes. Okay, hope all of you have understood.